Good evening everyone, welcome back to Tom Plays Factorio for absolute beginners. We are close to getting artillery, but I was considering having a look at our oil processing, having discovered that the basic recipe is just a bad deal all round. I'm just thinking there's no real harm in at least preparing the ground for advanced oil pressing. So basically the difference is, with the basic, we've got crude oil coming in here and petroleum gas going out there. Now you've got the same thing in the advanced one, but we've also got water coming in and heavy and light oil. So if we can get the pipes for heavy and light oil lined up, we could probably switch pretty easily. This is our heavy oil. Okay, so a big problem here is going to be that we can't cross this very easily. Honestly, that ought to be really minor. Okay. So that's basically done. Wondering if I could actually just link into the light oil like this. Yes, alright. Oh. Was that electric pole completely unnecessary? I think that electric pole was completely unnecessary. Oh, it was probably needed once. Oh well. Okay, so the only problem with that is that I've put it in completely the wrong place. But apart from that, it's perfect. Yeah, it's not linking up to the petroleum gas, is it? So I think that is all in place, and now all I need is the water. And this is water. What am I doing? I may as well line the thing up properly. Okay, so I haven't put any kind of pump in this time, but I didn't for the other one either. So if I just change the recipe, it looks like that works. Okay, brilliant. Just have to watch so we don't end up getting overloaded with heavy oil or light oil now. So that light oil's still the most likely one. Still, you know, it's processing away pretty happily. Okay, brilliant. So this was the only question, is do we want to try and do this one as well? Or is it worth having a less efficient one that we at least know is never going to stop? Not entirely sure. Yeah, we'll give that a bit of thought. Why is this not doing anything? Right. Not enough electrical circuits. Why don't we have enough electrical circuits? Okay, we've got plenty of those down here, at least. Let me just grab a few. And have some of these guys actually working on these while I work out what's gone wrong. Right, so the problem is not enough copper. Copper's coming in, but yeah, it's literally just not enough. And the problem is this is taking quite a lot of the electrical circuits away from here. Okay, it's not the end of the world. And seeing as the main things I care about are the cyan and yellow vials, I can actually build them up a bit manually as well, because we are now so incredibly close to actually getting on with the artillery finally. Yeah, we're not actually struggling for these, we're fine. I am worrying over nothing. Just thinking if there's anything else I ought to be worrying about. I don't think there's anything major. Overall, I think we look pretty good. I might just ditch sulphur. Generally speaking, that's all going well. Yeah, there's plenty coming in. I think these are just taking it a little bit too fast, and they're never running out. Which is surprising actually, because they look quite chock-a-block here. But we are making them. Yeah, we're getting there. We're good, we're fine. Everything is fine. Aha! Out of yellows, right. That makes more sense. I was wondering why we'd sort of stalled at 95%. Okay, so what's the problem with the yellows, and where actually do they live? Up here somewhere. No. Okay, maybe that electrical pole was needed. How about that? I suppose on the plus side that should mean that we're not actually low on any production items as such. Oh, we don't have a lot of these. Oh yeah, they probably weren't producing either, were they? Yeah, so we've got a lot of backlog. It's literally just going to be a matter of time now, I think. Okay, that's fine. That is fine. Right, well, with that in mind, I guess I will go and look at the final oil thing. Okay, so I want heavy oil, light oil, water, in theory. So heavy oil should be easy enough. Let's just bring you down here. In theory, that's now connected. Light oil is always going to be a little trickier, although we can maybe just shunt them in here somehow. It's useful that the pipes to ground can all cross each other. I suppose the assumption is that they're all on different heights below the surface. I appreciate this is horribly messy. But as long as it works, it doesn't matter that much. Okay, so theoretically that's now all set up. So now I just need water. So we actually have water here, in theory. If I just interrupt that, stick a regular pipe in the way, then realise that I've done that completely the wrong way around. And then I reckon I can just change the recipe again. There we go. So we will have to be alert for things getting full up. I'm thinking especially light oil, because it's stayed at a fairly steady 4/5 full. Might actually need another one of these. I mean, it's not going to stop, to be fair. It just might slow things down. We'll see how it goes. But yeah, we've now got all three running the advanced oil processing instead of the basic. So hopefully we should be getting an awful lot more petroleum gas, along with more of the other two. And those will only become more useful with time, I think. So that's good. How are we doing? Pretty good. Starting to back up. Is the research happily whirring away? It would appear that it is. Okay, that's good. So, I cannot believe we're still getting attacked there. That is incredible. I'll make that the first place of the artillery. It's a sort of a decision as to where to put it. Like, you kind of feel like the first place to put it should probably be somewhere safe, so you can just get a gauge for how it is, because it always surprises me how far the artillery reaches. But then, of course, it's far more effective if you put it somewhere out on a limb. You stick it there, I mean, it's going to be insane, but it will provide far more protection. To start with, when it first fires, we're going to stand by it and help with a defence ourselves. But the first concern, of course, is just going to be making artillery shells, as many as we possibly can, and then hopefully we can start on the nuclear power, because we should be about ready for the Kovarex process now, but we need to do all the research and build all the infrastructure. So we should be on the verge of everything changing in a big way. Just trying to check that nothing is stuck, but no, I think the copper and iron trains are unloading. So yeah, in theory it's all good, and I literally just need them to finish researching the artillery. I don't suppose I can get some kind of... Oh, we can. Okay, so we're going to need radar, explosives and explosive cannon shells to make artillery shells. That's another thing worth bearing in mind. Got two options for artillery. You can either have a turret that just sits in a single location and you just feed it with artillery shells, or you can have an artillery wagon which travels around. I did used to absolutely love the artillery wagon because it's basically a train and it can stop at every one of your train stations and clear the area of enemies. In theory it's great, but it's only great if you have enough of them and if you have lots of artillery shells. Lots of artillery shells is going to matter anyway, but it's harder to see how many you've got. And the problem is that even if you have enough artillery shells, if you get enough train stops, you can find that the bases start to rebuild between visits from the artillery train. And when artillery fires, the attacks are much, much worse. So if you're not careful with the artillery wagon, you can end up making your attacks actually worse and not better, which is not what you want. So these days I usually go with the straight mounted artillery, and I'll make, well, not mounted, you know, the stationary artillery. I'll put an artillery thing somewhere and I'll make sure it's cleared the area. It's massively overstocked with shells, like there's plenty waiting to go in on a conveyor belt. And I'll do all that before I look at making another one. So it's like one by one, you basically make sure that every area is completely safe and you've always got masses of shells. And I just think it's a more stable way to do it. Oh cool, we can see an attack coming in. Don't often have enough radar to pick these up. It looks like they're determined to go for the coal mine. I suppose because we don't have much production here. Hopefully the coal mine can just see them off. So that's them fighting. That's one of them being damaged. Not sure where the attack must come from there. I don't know if you remember, we cleared a base here last week to stop the attacks on the coal mine. So yeah, in theory, having artillery here would also prevent attacks on the coal mine to some extent. At least from these two bases, I think. But they're mostly for clearing bases, rather than dealing with actual attacks. But they should push back the distance of the bases from our bases by a long way, because they really do reach an incredible distance. As we will hopefully find out when they finally finish researching it. I feel like I went for this way too early. So we've like been researching this one thing for multiple sessions. Just because it's 2,000 of each of these. It's, yeah, quite a lot of vials. So I'm assuming that we don't just need basic artillery shells. I don't think I need like explosive artillery shells because they're already being made from the explosive tank shells. So I'm pretty confident the artillery shells are explosive anyway. So I think the only thing we will possibly do is upgrade their power. But the power we've got should be plenty for now. So once the artillery is researched, I think we're going to be researching nuclear power, which I'm hoping will be a lot faster. I just need this down research to actually finish. Okay, we've still got some coming. So it's not like it's actually stalling. There's something that actually tells us how close we are. I don't think there is exactly. I mean, in theory this does. Oh no, there we go. 1991. So I need 9 more yellow vials for this to finish. And I'm sufficiently focused on this that I can't think of anything else that I want to do while I'm waiting for this one. There's another 3 and I just need a final 3. I don't want this to stall. Yeah, we're good. We're good, they're coming. Going to need at the very least an assembling machine. Why can I not build any more? Got gear wheels, steel plates, electronic circuit. Oh, we need to build an assembling machine 1. So we're just low on iron plates. Yeah, it's just the iron plates that we haven't got. Okay, that's fine. I can go and fetch some. Well, they just finish off the research. I think. And there we go. Slowing down again. Just there, so I think that means we are low on power. But our research into nuclear technologies is way overdue, so I'm expecting that to go pretty quickly. So we might be able to do both this session if I hurry up. How's our power looking? Yeah, looks like it's not filling up fast enough. That's fine. I'm not worrying about any more solar now. We're done. We are done. So apart from having the artillery wagon, which I'm probably not going to build, even though they are kind of cool, got the artillery turret and the artillery shell. The artillery shell is the first thing we're going to be working on. However, right, nuclear power. So this will actually allow us to build the nuclear reactor and everything. Alright, so we need explosives and we also need tank shells, wasn't that? Explosive cannon shells. Now I don't think I have been making those. I could be wrong. Lots of explosives, yeah, so we're talking steel plates, plastic bars, explosives. That's it, apart from the radar. It definitely feels like we want to oh yeah, those are the mines, aren't they? So we're going to need plastic, steel and explosives. And we can make steel using these, although we do have a steel production thing which we can also take from. Yeah, I think this is a pretty decent place to do it. So I think what we need to do is... Okay, so we don't need to make cannon shells, we just go straight for the explosive cannon shells. And then they are just going to feed immediately into the artillery shells, looks like. Okay. Okay, so you need explosives and explosive cannon shells. You need most of the stuff. So the only thing that both of them need is the explosives, which is fine. So we'll run... Okay, you're gonna have to go, sorry. Run the explosives past them both. I shouldn't need to split the explosives. I might need to split them here, but I shouldn't need to split them higher up. I think I'm going to use fast inserters for this. And then we'll run you directly. Okay. Yeah, these are going. Let's run the plastics directly over here. And then immediately run out of transport belts. Plastics. I'll just separate them anyway. I could just move it inwards and they wouldn't interfere with each other, but perfectly happy to just separate them. I guess we could just run a splitter . Here? Yeah. Okay. Then we just get a last one and that do it. Obviously need a fast inserter there. I feel like that might do it. Oh, radar. Need radar. That's true. Okay. So at the moment we've been making radar exclusively by hand. So, radar. Iron plate, iron gear wheel and electronic circuits. Okay. Might be easier to make it somewhere else. I mean, the gear wheel and the iron plate we can make just with iron, so that's fine. It's just the copper that's the problem. There is a source of copper here. So in theory, what would we do? We'd need... Oh right, there's iron plates there as well. Okay. Okay, copper and iron plates, so we've got these. So we need copper wire, electronic circuits, which needs iron as well, gear wheels which need iron. Could even do it up here, I suppose. Right, okay. So for our final trick we need radar, which is there. And I need more efficiency modules. Okay, radar. So we need iron gear wheels and electronic circuits. So this can be our iron gear wheels, this can be our electronic circuits, and this can be our copper wire. Gear wheels, gear wheels. Yeah, it's a component, isn't it? As we can use productivity modules for that one. Right. So if that's an iron feed, because electronic circuits need iron, as do gear wheels, of course. Copper wire just needs copper. So we just need to bring up a copper feed to there. So, a couple of splitters. Copper is going in this direction. Iron, I think, is going in that direction, and the splitter should be a fast one. Doesn't mean this bit has to be, but I like to have a fast one on the join up. On the bit where one conveyor belt turns into another. Okay. I think that should do it. That's working fast enough. That's working fast enough. That needs efficiency modules, so I do need to go and get some. So use an underground belt to get this up top. Okay, you're not doing anything. I'm missing. You also need iron. Right, so the iron feed needs to also be split, because I can't actually get it to you there. But if we split you off here, take you underneath, that'll set up there. Nope. There. And we are now making radar en masse. And we've also found a use for this little dead end that I kept running into, so hopefully I'll be less likely to run into it now. Probably more likely to run into it, honestly. Right, so radar is here. We need it for our artillery shells. So if we can get it here, we can use one of the long-armed ones to pick it up. Okay, yeah, that should work. Nope. Did not want to do that. I can already see this tree is going to be in the way. Somehow every one of the trees has managed to be in the way, despite there being relatively few of them. Alright, I don't really need all the radar I accidentally picked up either. Okay, so in theory, we're now producing artillery shells. Excellent. Right, so I do want to get an efficiency modules, and I think I'm going to need concrete to make the actual artillery gun. And we apparently have no efficiency modules. Okay. In which case, let us unleash the floodgates and allow them to start building them again. Right. So I want to make an artillery turret, to which I need some standard concrete, which is this stuff. I'm not going to worry about putting the concrete back this time, because I think I'm going to need more of it. What else? So principally we are going to want an artillery train. Possibly 2 artillery trains, because we haven't actually joined up the North and South Railroad. So even though I don't want to mount an artillery wagon, I'm going to need to move the artillery shells themselves by train to our various bases. Could probably use iron pickup north, honestly, for the artillery train. Can we? No, hang on, I don't think we can, because we're already picking stuff up from it. In theory we could use the oil train area, but that seems risky to me. Maybe I should just try and do a new station. See, the potential problem with a new station is that things might get stuck. There's no real reason why I can't just branch these lines to make a new one. Well, apart from the fact that I'm starting in a silly place. Nope. Come down a little bit further. Oh, good grief. Alright, that might actually be sufficient. Just stick some traffic lights there to make sure they don't collide. Stick another one here. We're only going to need this train to be one carriage, which should help a little. I'm going to call this Artillery Pickup North. Stun of the train tracks, stun. Right, okay, so we're going to need an actual train carriage and I guess a cargo wagon. So you need some steel and some engine units. So it's no surprise that we're out of scions this time. They're still working away though, it's not like they're out of resources as such. Yeah, they're fine. They are fine. Right. Engines. And steel. I need steel. Might even make a couple because I know I'm going to need one for the south as well. If there's room in the box, I could put the remaining engines back. Okay, brilliant. And I also need a couple of cargo wagons. Now there's a question, what colour should an artillery train be? I might actually go with red, because I don't think I've used red for anything. That tends to be the default, so I'll just keep it there. Okay, and we need to load the train up with coal. I don't know why I'm opening a menu for that. Do we have a box? Apparently not. Okay. It's not unreasonable, I guess. I kind of expect these to stretch further than they do. Probably spoilt by the pipes to ground, which do seem to go a lot further. There we go. And we're also going to need to load up a load of artillery. So how do we get the artillery from down here to up there? Artillery shells, I should say. Right, so they are currently here. So just know we're going to need loads of these. So lots of iron plates required. And probably lots of transport belts. Gear off some more inserters while I'm at it because I've used a fair few. Some more electronic circuits and gear wheels as well. Let's just try and remake some stuff. Yeah, I think that's a bit better. What does it you need? Grenades. Okay. Let's move some across manually again. Hopefully we won't have to do that for much longer because once we have nuclear power we can begin. Actually, I should grab some. Never did get those efficiency modules, did I? Let's cut you off again. So we never need as many of them. But I should load those onto the radar assembling machine. Well, I remember. I mean, all it does, I think, is just save us a little bit of power. Which will hopefully not be a problem soon, but nonetheless, I feel better having them in there. Right, okay, so I need to get you a long way up. And I can't help but notice that you stopped making things. Radar, you've got no radar. You've got no radar, because I forgot to put the long-handled inserter in. I'm glad I checked that then. That was a bit dumb. Right, okay. It's going to seriously limit how much more I can how many more petroleum stores I can put in. Still, hopefully we're mostly just using it all. Alright, so we're good in a lot of ways to just go across the train tracks if we can. So we don't tend to have a lot of stuff happening actually on them. It's trees again. Ooh, am I going to be able to get through there? Is that going to be a shade too far? Nope, just about. Hang on. I've lost them somewhere. Oh no, I haven't. Oh, there they are. Must just have been moving slowly. Okay, so we're going to want to load it around there. Might just use a slow inserter for this one. Just because in some ways I would rather keep it at that station for a while. Because I know on this station it's not blocking things up, whereas on the drop-offs I might end up blocking a few things. So in theory, I guess it should actually start to load it. Okay, nice. Right, so at this point we've got a couple of choices. We could set up our... Oh, hang on, what's happened here? Right, something's definitely gone wrong there. Oh, I see. Yeah. No, that's fine. That's fine. There. Yeah, because that traffic light was before the split, as long as this was sat here, this was actually closed off. So we just needed another one. We shouldn't need one for this line because the train's not going to be sat here. It's just going to go straight through. So we're good. So yeah, we can either make a turret like here, because we've now got the artillery shells quite close to that area, or we could actually make one further up, like in the coal mine. I might make one here actually, just as our example. So we're going to want to split this somewhere here probably, and try to load an artillery shell up here. So in this case, I probably won't use any boxes. I'm probably just going to rely on the extremely long conveyor belt. That's our artillery. I'm going to deliberately put a break in here. We're going to go all the way back. I should possibly be trying to conserve space more than I am doing, but I don't think we need to worry too much. We're getting close enough to finishing now. Oh well, that relatively blank area over there is probably going to be my favourite choice for a space rocket. Definitely going to want an area within our own base for it. Okay, so that looks good. Really need to watch myself with these trains. And if we just put a splitter in, maybe put the splitter in a sensible place. So now I just want to accumulate a huge number of artillery shells, or at least a decent number, before we actually activate it. Hang on, got myself lost. Right, so that's here. So the thing it's low on is tank shells, and they're low because they're low on explosives. Okay. Okay, and explosives are made here, and that's low on coal. Oh, well, that I can help with. Yeah, and the coal's just coming in. This may end up being something else we need coal for. Okay, well, seeing as that area is fairly innocuous, I think what I might do is retrieve all the artillery shells that have gone into this train, seeing as we're not set up yet. Thank you. See, we don't hold that many either. So that's part of the problem. The train doesn't hold a huge amount of artillery shells because they're quite big. So when you've got one of those wagon trains, it's yeah, it's not overwhelming in terms of sheer power. Okay, so the question is, are we ready for our first artillery shell test firing? So we've got that base will be in range. I think that base will be in range. Possibly that one. I don't know beyond that. I'm going to want to prepare every time we do a new one, because there's going to be a huge number of attacks coming. Let's do this. So essentially, it just finds itself a target and fires. So you can see it on the map. The little achievement. So it's ideally what we want is for it to take out all enemy base in the first volley. You can see we've got an enormous attack coming. And this can easily overwhelm you if you're not ready for it. And of course, when you use the wagons, the attack can end up happening when you're not there. So the advantage of these is that I'm here. I'm here to help. We've set up a new one. And hopefully it'll actually clear the bases. All the ones that are in range. Although actually I don't think it has. No, you see it's run out. So that's kind of what we didn't want to happen. Oh heck. But on the other hand, they are reduced. The nearby ones are heavily reduced. So I'm hoping we might survive. If I just repair all of this, then we might be able to actually leave this artillery turret. I'm hoping the remaining bases are weak enough that their retaliatory strikes won't be enough to overwhelm the defences here. Hard to say, honestly. Of course, if we're worried, we could just hang around here. But you want to get to the point, basically, where the artillery turret has got shells to spare and it can't find anything to fire at, because then when they start setting up a new base, it will immediately wipe it out, and you'll effectively have made an area that they can't make bases in. Covered in yeah, it's covered in turret coverage. So if you add turret coverage to your map, this is the area this one artillery turret is covering. So you see it's an extremely wide range that it's in theory keeping safe. It doesn't keep safe from attacks, it keeps safe from new bases forming. So it won't touch that one, which is good. But the problem is, if you have base in this area, it causes massive attacks to come. So you want all the bases wiped out, you want the artillery turrets standing by with spare shells, so that when any new ones try to form in this area, it will immediately take them out while they're still weak. And only at that point can we afford to make a new one. So till then, this is going to be our only turret, until we have lots of shells in stock and there are no bases in this area. Right, hopefully I've made that very, very clear. Belaboured the topic enough. So in a perfect world, until that's done, I would want to be hanging around the artillery turret, if only to do repairs. Obviously this will be less of an issue once we've got nuclear power, once we have flying drones and they're able to do repairs for us automatically. But until then, we're going to probably be needed to at least repair things in this area. Still, I mean, that's good, because that's our first artillery. So we finally have artillery operating. And we have a certain amount of protection. So apart from that, what did we achieve? We got both of our old oil refineries onto the new refinery method, which will hopefully give us far more resources. We obviously had to set up all the artillery stuff. So that was most of it, to be honest. It was mostly just the artillery. And we've started researching nuclear power, which hopefully we can make a start on next time. We've got a new artillery train, so that's going to be serving these bases. Primarily, these three. So the 2 oil fields, the uranium and the coal mine. Probably start at the coal mine, even though our current artillery is partially protecting it. So yeah, I mean, actually we could put one there and it might even cover the coal mine completely. But I would rather have 4 if we can. So we'll probably spend quite a bit of time doing these. Obviously we're going to need to do an artillery pickup down here as well. So we're going to have a lot to do with artillery. But I'm not that keen to follow through on it until this one has cleared its area. I'm fascinated that I actually haven't done lasers yet. Normally have by this time. Oh. Click the recipe by accident. I might just make a couple more of these, seeing as we don't have any lasers. Because otherwise these attacks are just going to keep coming. And it will at least make things a little better. But yeah, that's on the whole quite happy with what we've done there. We're going to have a lot to sort out with the artillery while we're working on nuclear power. So we're going to have plenty to do. You see, that's not so bad. That actually took them out before they did any damage. So, I mean, if we can keep doing that, then we might be able to safely leave it. A lot of the bases at least don't look very powerful now. I'll turn that off because I don't want to overcomplicate the map. So it might be that it's able to stand on its own now anyway. But we'll see. I will leave it there. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.